Welcome into the 1-0 Cleveland Browns report. Matthew Peterson here. We're going to overreact, have some fun, get some takeaways stemming from the Browns' 26-24 win over the Carolina Panthers. Honestly, there's no better feeling than Monday morning when your NFL team is in the win column, right? That's the best way to start the week. If it's a loss, then the whole week is just sort of down in the dumps until Friday when you talk yourself into winning, no matter who you're playing. But let's break down this game in a little bit more detail. We'll get some more overreactions, have some takeaways, and have some fun with it. But if you are pumped to be 1-0 for the first time since 2004, when Jeff Garcia was the Cleveland Browns quarterback, give me a go Browns down in the comments section. Okay, here is my first takeaway / overreaction. Cade York is going to Canton, Ohio, and he is going to be in the Hall of Fame class of 2022, right? I mean, the guy was just money in his NFL debut. A perfect 4 for 4, of course, highlighted by that game-winning 58-yard field goal. In my game preview, I said I'm predicting a Cade York walk-off field goal. We're going to call it the Yorker. I've seen some other great nicknames out on Twitter. Cardiac Cade, that's one of my favorites right now. But hey, we'll take any way we can get them. Was it the prettiest win in the fourth quarter? No, but a win is a win. And in my book, if you win in the NFL on the road, that is the first takeaway right there. Not, well, there were some issues and the fourth quarter wasn't great. A win is a win. You will take them however you can get them. Now, here's what Kevin Stefanski said about Cade York after the game. I didn't want to try a 50-yarder early in this game. I wanted to give him some extra points, some field goals, and have him see the ball go through the middle of the uprights. But we knew if we needed him, we were going to call him. And the Browns needed Cade York, and the rookie fourth-round pick out of LSU came in clutch. I mean, Cade York, this is the story, right? If you don't start, whatever Cleveland Browns, and you should be looking for all sorts of Browns media outlets today because you just want to bathe in this victory. Everyone should be leading off with number 3. It's just the biggest story, and it's just so much fun to talk about. 58-yarder, baby. That's a Yorker. Overreaction number 2. The defense collapsed in the fourth quarter. I don't know how big of an actual overreaction this is because the defense we saw quarters 1 through 3 vanished in the fourth quarter. I mean, the Panthers through the first 3 quarters had 102 total yards, 30 on the ground, 72 on the air, just 1 touchdown, 7 points altogether, 10 first downs. But in the fourth quarter, Baker and the Panthers started to get into a rhythm. They capitalized on a just completely blown coverage 75-yard touchdown to Robbie Anderson. But all in all, here's my take on this. You're going to see a lot of people out there going, this is a concern. This is a big problem. This defense collapsed in the end. It is week 1. Relax a little bit, right? That is the kind of the nature of week 1. We have some things to clean up, and we're going to do that. Now, if we see this trend continue, then it's no longer, it's okay, it's just week 1. That's when I put it in time to be concerned file. But after one game where, yes, you had Greg Newsome and Grant Delpit have some sort of miscommunication on what the defense was. Delpit clearly sat in his zone. Newsome clearly sat in his zone. Delpit was not expecting to pick up Robbie Anderson, and he was left wide open for Baker. But I am not going to go to bed tonight thinking, damn, that defense, that secondary, that's not it right now. So here's my good and bad from this defense. The good is Jordan Elliott and this interior defensive line. Elliott, I thought, probably had the best game of the defensive tackles. Taven Bryan, I mean, that pass interference in the end zone was BS anyway. And then Tommy Togiai, he was even getting some batted down passes and getting in the tackle column. So I liked what I saw out of the interior defensive line. I was concerned throughout the preseason. Happy to see them prove me wrong and really limit Christian McCaffrey between the tackles. Now, before we get to the rest of my overreactions and takeaways, you got to get going with BetUS. If you are not already, you're just missing out on free money. I told everyone to take Browns money line. was never a doubt, was never a concern, was never panicking. Make the bets over at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125, and they'll give you a 125% deposit bonus. Next overreaction I've got here. Jacoby Brissett is still a work in progress. This is more actually under the takeaway column here. Because Jacoby Brissett, I thought, in my opinion, looked like what I expected him to look like, which was game-managing quarterback, a backup. He went 18 for 34, 147 yards and 1 touchdown. He had some bad misses in the first quarter. Let's call it what it is, right? He missed Amari Cooper. He missed Kareem Hunt. And then he had Donovan Peoples-Jones open for likely a walk-in touchdown. But all in all, he looked like a game-managing backup QB. He didn't push the ball downfield too much. He protected the football, something Baker can't say. And he was Jacoby Brissett, for better or for worse. Now, I would like to see those deep ball accuracy get cleaned up a little bit, because if he hits Hunt or if he looks to DPJ, this game might have been over and not left to be in reach for the Panthers in the fourth quarter. And maybe a better team capitalizes earlier in the game down in the stretch of this season. Now, here's what I really want to know from you guys. Are you more or less confident in Jacoby Brissett now that we finally got to see him play a regular season game? Give me an M for more or an L for less. I have some quick honorable mentions I want to run through here. Someone was talking about this in my live stream for the game, our watch party. Join us next Sunday as we beat the shit out of Joe Flacco and the Jets. Kareem Hunt, contract extension? I don't think so. I think Andrew Berry is content with the plan, which is we have Jerome Ford to take over for Kareem Hunt. We're not going to give a then 28-year-old running back a contract extension. Number 2, Donovan Peoples-Jones is a legit wide receiver too. I don't think that's much of an overreaction. He was the best wide receiver on the field yesterday. He made some very difficult catches look easy. DPJ definitely is settling into his role, which is your go-to guy after Amari Cooper. Nick Chubb. That's all. Nick Chubb's awesome, right? Can we just talk about that for a second? No grasping for straws. No trying to make something up here. Nick Chubb is it. He's the guy. I love 24. Big one here. The defense will finish top 5. If this defense played all 4 quarters like they did in the first, second, and into the third, I don't see why not. You had playmakers at every single position. Myles Garrett was one of the best edge rushers. He had a phenomenal win rate over the rookie tackle, Ike Mekwonu. 2 sacks, 6 QB hurries, if I remember correctly. John Johnson, that penalty was stupid at the end, but he got a sack on Baker. He was making plays across the board for 3 quarters. I loved this defense. Some miscommunications in the secondary in the fourth, but all in all, I think this defense may not be a top 5, but they're 6 if they're not 5. Demetric Felton is on thin ice. Does anyone else get their heart rate up when Felton is returning punts? The muff punt, just poor field vision, right? Not reading the punt well and then putting himself in a bad position to field it. This will be something to monitor. We saw Jerome Ford get some kickoff returns. Might we see him get some punt returns? Now, before we wrap up today's show, I want to look at some bad tweets. Because some people out there believe Baker Mayfield still had a good game. Pete Smith, Browns Digest, I believe. People can hate Baker Mayfield all they want, but he has been beaten to a pulp in this game and has willed the Panthers into this game. What game were you watching, Pete? Where did Baker get beaten into a pulp when he missed his receiver by a mile and Grant Delpit got the interception? Also, I thought Baker said he was off the leash. His leash got shorter. His leash was like the leash of Stu from The Hangover with his wife, where she banged the bartender on a cruise ship. I mean, what? Baker was not beaten into a pulp where it was not his fault at all. He missed throws. He had a bad interception. He had sloppy footwork. He dropped a shotgun snap. Come on. And then what about this one? From Ed Greenberger. By my unofficial count, in his final 5 drives today, Baker Mayfield was 9 for 12 for 211 yards and a touchdown pass and a touchdown run and put up 24 points. Okay, it's a good thing. Well, unfortunately for Baker, it's a bad thing. Football's more than just 5 drives. Football is 4 quarters. This was Baker last season, right? Baker is kind of like your girlfriend who does just enough to make you think she's the one, but then for every good thing, there's 5 bad things. And you're left wondering, is this really a long-term play? I just went full Colin Cowherd on everyone there. But, yeah, Baker had some good moments for the Panthers fans at the end there. And they're going to go through the same thing we all sort of went through the last 4 years, where 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of deal, right? Where Baker does just enough where you're like, this could be it. But the first 3 quarters were so bad, he had to put on a cape at the end to give his team a chance. How about just not putting yourself in such a deep hole through 3 quarters that you have to do that stuff in the 4th quarter, where you have to hopefully bank on blown coverage and Robbie Anderson is left wide open? The Baker bros out there are just going to defend him to the ends of the earth. We'll just call it how it is. He had a bad game on Sunday. He did. Now, the good news is we're done talking about 6. I'm done talking about 6. I'm not going to be following him through the rest of the season in Carolina. I'm ready for Joe Flacco, who looked shitty in Week 1 against the Ravens this Sunday from First Energy Stadium. But that's going to do it for us on today's show. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you go ahead and do so.